Let's see. Now I am going to be publishing this. I am running this on my MacBook Pro, so the loading is going to be a bit. Hopefully I can cut it and edit this video a bit. And I apologize if I stumble through some of my words. I wanted to script it and write it, write it out before I go ahead and go through this. But honestly, that's kind of boring. I wanted to keep it a little bit off the cuff. But I could definitely use another run through my speech class. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, as you can see here, here's the original, and here's my end product. And I know some of you guys are asking yourselves, how I could have just simply, just lowered down the contrast, or I'm sorry, the exposure here. We got it, but it doesn't create the effect that you want. And using the tools in Lightroom can become somewhat cumbersome. They're just not there where to the point where you can do some of this where you don't need Photoshop anymore. As you can see, when we lower down the exposure, it lowers down everything, and I would have to use this whole brush and do it all here, but I prefer using Photoshop. Now, I actually ended up editing this picture in Photoshop CS4, but today I'm going to be running it on CS5. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up on CS5. It takes just a second. I'm going to go ahead also and open up, as you can see, the original one is already there. It's loading up. There we go. Alright. Let me go ahead and separate them so we can work on them side by side. Cool. As you can see, there's a big difference in the way they look. Right now, the finished image is open. As you can see the layers on the right hand side. It's not that many layers, honestly. Let's go ahead and turn them off, show you that I am not lying to you guys. It is the same picture. There you go. Now, as you can see on this picture, I've already done some cleanup work on it, on his face. It's not that he has bad skin or anything, but it's just, nobody's skin is exactly perfect. So yeah, I already did some cleanup work on it. And I think I'm gonna work at zoomed in like this. Let me just make sure we adjust these windows. Hopefully you can't hear my laptop fans going off. Pretty loud on this. MacBooks run pretty hot. Alright. And maybe I'll edit this out so you guys don't see this. Kind of messy of me to be doing this like this. Alright, as you can see, I've already done some cleanup on this face. However, I didn't want to make him silky smooth because to me that just detracts from the picture. I'm not a big guy who likes to completely edit everything on the skin out, make him look like a plastic doll. That's not my thing. I like to keep looking human, looking like this are real people, But obviously some of the things, some of the blemishes, some of the blemishes we have, you can't help it. Some things are out of control. You wake up with a new blemish, can't control. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what I first did. Now, I like opening up files like this because I like to. I'm very forgetful and I forget what I did. What I usually like to start with is basically getting over the overall contrast, the overall lighting that I want, and then I'll go ahead and work on the picture. So in order to do that, I do the curves. I do a curves layer. And let's go ahead and take care of that right now. And just like to lower it just a little bit. And I'm actually working on the left picture. As you can see, it's the same thing as in Lightroom. It lowers down everything. But what it does is creates this, you can see this little white box, that's a mask. And what that allows me is to remove and add the effect with a paintbrush. So I'm already in the paintbrush, and you can see my brush is pretty big. Some lads at a big circle. And in order to do this right, honestly, I recommend a Wacom tablet. I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm going to be removing the effect, and you can see it going, right? Because we don't want to darken him necessarily all the way through. We just wanted the background to get just a little bit darker. Softer brush, just a little bit. Right? Perfect. Now, as you can see, it's dark, but it's not necessarily darker. I wanted that sky just a little bit more, less saturated, honestly. So this is a trick that I actually ended up finding out through here when doing this set. Because originally I thought I was going to do it black and white, because I was thinking, I was just like, I couldn't get over the colors. It's just too bright, too saturated. But it didn't give me, let's see. Let's go ahead and turn it black and white through a black and white layer. And this is where I figured out that if I did a multiply on it, it did the exact effect that I wanted. You see? We already got some of the effect going on that we had in the original. However, it's just too dark. And it just the only problem with this layer is just it ends up highlighting a lot of the blemishes. So let's go ahead and see how I dealt with that in the original one. So my curves, right, lowered it, and black and white layer, boom. So we got the similar effect, and look at the sky difference. I removed it. I lowered down the brightness of the sky just a little bit. There you go. That's why I love these layers. Boom. Nice. Now, in order to remove some of that contrast, I did a brightness contrast layer. I'm going to pump up the brightness, but lower down the contrast. There you go. Now, let's go ahead and invert the mask. Invert the mask. And basically what I'm doing now is painting in the layer. Painting in that effect. There you go. Right. See, that's too bright right there. There you go. See? Sweet, man. Alright. So that's how I basically got to this. And let's go ahead and run through the original one, show you how I got it to where I was. Continue doing the curves, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see, I ended up doing it for the sunglasses. There's the brightness contrast for the face, not just for the face, but also the body. Let's go ahead and turn that black. There we go. There we go. Sweet. Shades lower. And of course, the water was just too bright. And again, with the brightness contrast layer, we remove that. Just make it a lot less brighter, a lot less distracting. And there we go. Finished image. Now, it may seem like it didn't take that much time, but technically it is pretty a pretty long thing to do. It's not gonna look good. It's gonna look amateurish. It's gonna look half done. So there you go. And that's how I created this image. And I would definitely recommend using the black and white layer in order to lower down the brightness of pictures. And that's how I got again, some of the other images that I'm proud of, right? Again, it's the same process, lowering down the brightness of that sky and just getting, however, it's in this one I preserved a little bit some of the saturation, and it just to me it just made it an outstanding picture. Again, it's not too bright, however it remains masculine, right? And that's what I love. This is why I love Photoshop processing. We're able to do edit small areas, focus on, and make a picture perfect rather than just a great picture. Make it a perfect picture. And I basically use the same technique in order to create this image right here. Same image, black and white, but however, didn't saturate the sky so much. I thought that ended up making the picture look a little bit more detracted from the picture. Wanted to create that effect. You can see nice detail on everything. And I kind of like this crop. Maybe I should have just cropped it like right here. Would have been nice. Maybe it would have worked better, but again, one of my better sets. And alright guys, that's it for this time. I'm going to be doing a couple more. Showing you guys how I did some. I think I'm going to be working on Eve's set next. And she is the Russian model from a couple weeks ago. Hopefully I can show you guys how I did some of this. Basically, it all kind of follows the same technique. Again, pushing and pulling the lights. And thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully I was able to show you guys something. Or if you guys already knew this, hopefully you guys can teach me some, send me some messages. And I appreciate the feedback.